What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Cha-Ching, The River of Thieves, or just River of Thieves, by Clayton Snyder. So, guys, I was actually interested in getting into some of Clayton Snyder's stuff, and what moved him up the list is when I found out he was going to be co-writing a book with Michael R. Fletcher, Norilska Groans. Now, I have already read Norilska Groans, but it was actually after I read this bad boy here. So this was my first introduction to Mr. Snyder's work. I do not know. I know he's got quite a few other books out there, and I do know that this one has a sequel. But other than that, this is just a wacky, motherfucking zany-ass ride, okay? It is like poking fun at everything. It is hilarious. Let's get into it. River of Thieves is an unconventional tale of friendship in some ways. We really kind of follow two characters and their crew. Now, I say there's two main characters, but this thing is told through first person, so we're getting everything through the eyes of Nen. Now, Nen is a female character. She is a thief, and she loves her knives. Now, the other character here that is our main focus character is a cursed thief named Cord. Now, Cord's curse is very interesting and very comical at times, and it certainly is one that'll pull you in and just keep you just entertained throughout the whole thing. Now, when the story begins, we're picking up with Nen and Cord, and they're doing what thieves do best, stealing. Except for Nen and Cord do what they do best in the worst way. They're not graceful. It's always sloppy, and it's always a botched job. But we will come to see that botching jobs must be a source of pure inspiration, as our cursed thief, Cord, concocts the con of con, the job of jobs. And this will require him and Nen to go out and seek old friends of his, ones that are very reluctant to join his cause. But he's going to need them to pull this whole crazy fucking idea off. And what happens from here is essentially Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong goes wrong for our cast and crew. And it is the most hilarious of rides. Like I said earlier, this thing is fucking bonkers, guys. And it certainly crosses the line into something that feels like Deadpool in fantasy. Okay, so the first thing I want to get into is the overall plot of the story, because I do think this is where the story suffers to some extent. Like I said, this is a very subjective con. It's not a very heavy, heavy lays the crown kind of con, you know what I mean? It won't bug you if you understand what it is, okay? So the reason why the plot suffers is kind of because of this thing being a wacky, zany ride. But if you kind of understand that, then the plot, I guess, in itself doesn't suffer, because you know it's just this wacky story and not something to be taken too seriously. But then on the other hand, you know what I mean? It has this plot in the beginning, and then it just kind of loses track in some ways. Essentially, this thing, is a heist tale. And the way it begins to set itself up is kind of strong for something that's so fast-paced and so short. You know what I mean? I was actually impressed right out the gate, because I was like, fuck, he's really going to try to build something here. But it kind of quickly starts to go all over the fucking place. Basically, what happens is the plot has a bit of ADD. And if I'm saying this actually, if I'm really going to be honest, the plot has ADD, okay? But it's not necessarily a bad thing if you want to read something that is wacky, zany, and just a fun fucking ride. Who gives a shit about the plot? I want to hang out with some funny fucking characters and read about some zany-ass ideas, throw some nut shit in the background, whatever. I want to read something that feels like somebody threw a million ideas at the wall, didn't give a shit if they stuck. He took the ones that stuck and the ones that fell off and still crammed them all in the fucking book. That's what's going on here, and that's why, as much as I obviously could tell that this is where the book suffers, but at the same time, I think it has to suffer for you to have all this extra shit that's a lot of fun. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Mark, you just told me this thing's all over the place. Why would I want to read it? Well, friend, like I just told you, it's fun. And let me elaborate on the things in here that make it fun. So first off, the banter. The banter is great. Anybody that likes that good old bustin' chops, shit talking with your friends kind of vibe, banter, it's in here throughout from beginning to end. In fact, also there's some very creative cussing going on in here as well. So if you're somebody that likes a good old dirty mouth, like me, it's probably up for a couple Grammys this year, especially for the Foul Mouth Award, probably the Prankster Gangster Award, who knows what else. But this thing is just very imaginative, on top of having hilarious banter. So Clayton Snyder just brought every goddamn idea you could think of in the kitchen sink, put them all together, and just fucking shoved it in here, man, and it's a lot of fun. Some of the imaginative stuff that I really enjoyed in this book, one of the things was the magic user class called the Horrowers. Now, these guys sound scary. Well, they are, because their magic is basically bringing your nightmares to life. But Clayton Snyder uses this to his advantage to bring forth something that just no reader probably ever will expect to see. Oh yes, the dick spider. I'm serious. And though the dick spider scene is very quick and over, it's just one of a million things that Clayton Snyder has slammed into this thing. Another deal I really liked was a magical sword named Dirk. Who could talk? And Dirk, when he talks, is great. And I could not help, and I'm kind of almost imagining maybe the inspiration for the singing sword named Dirk could be, I don't know, Dirk Ashton? At least that's who I'm imagining. So this just made this thing even funnier. You know, the magical sword and the way that it talks is funny enough, but if you imagine it as, self-pub author Dirk Ashton of Paternus Trilogy, it gets a little funnier, guys. I'm just going to tell you. Clayton Snyder doesn't need a magical item to bring humor to the story as well. Some of his writing and his prose really hit the funny bone right on the spot. There's a scene in this book where there's an ancient being kind of chasing our crew, and the way it's described had me in tears as he's talking about this dude's dick slapping ancient dust from thighs as he's giving chase. And it's just... it's fucking bonkers, man. Who writes this shit? Clayton Snyder, that's who. Now, also, if you're watching this and you're going, hey, Mark, you're talking a lot about dicks. There's a lot of dicks in this book. Well, here's the other thing. I'm glad that you noticed, because there's also one of my favorite parts in this book that is a discussion about dicks, and it's between Nen and another character where she's just kind of even throwing it out there, what's the deal with you guys and dicks? Why does everything got to be shaped like a dick? Why does every joke got a dick in it? Why is blah? And it's great. He's slamming the humor in your face and at the same time critiquing it too. Once again, this is that zany ride of Clayton Snyder's that he's really laid upon you. And this is one of the reasons why you are okay with sacrificing the fucking plot like a fucking lamb, because everything else is just bloody fun. So my 2 cents for the slow and the struggling is, yes, River of Thieves is for you. You can definitely get into this book, get through it with no problem. Clayton Snyder's biggest hurdle for you will be you trying to follow this wacky plot as it just zigs and zags all over the place. My advice to you is just kind of let go of that and just enjoy the wild ride. Enjoy this shit talking and witty banter between, unconventional friends, or just the crazy batshit scenarios that they get themselves into and how they get out of it and what do they look like at the end of that. That's what's really important here in the story, and that's what's going to keep you having fun and engaged. Don't worry about the crazy zigzags, okay? This book is absolutely for you guys. In fact, I'm really interested in the sequel to this and seeing if Clayton Snyder kind of sticks to this crazy punk rockish Deadpool fuck you kind of approach to fantasy, or if he's going to tighten it up a little bit more. I have read his recent stuff, and I can tell you it's night and day difference. He's still got some similarities, but, that's also 2 different tones and styles of books. So I'm getting all over the place here, guys. Bottom line is, yes, you can get into this book, get it started, get it finished in no time, and you will have a barrel of laughs, all the way in between. All right, guys, as always, thanks for spending some time down here at the channel and to Clayton Snyder. A kadoosh. 2 thumbs up, you crazy son of a bitch. God damn, this was funny. You had me slapping my knees and wiping fucking silly tears out of my eyes pretty much the whole damn time. And I'm also very, impressed with what you've been dropping too, but I gotta review that shit, so we're not gonna talk about that yet. For all of you, hey, thanks for watching, guys. You know what I mean? If you're new, like and subscribe. It really does help me grow the channel. As always, peace.